Morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. We had a birthday in the office yesterday, Amber's birthday, and I want to recognize her today, and I've asked her to open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd be kind enough to do that, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. We have prepared an agenda for you. There is one item that is not on here I'd like to add to this agenda, and that would be at the end of the meeting, after our citizens' comments, that we could go into executive session to discuss property, I guess acquisition and disposal. So with this agenda and that item added to it, I would entertain a motion to accept this as our agenda today.
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, we won't stick to an agenda. We'll let it die for lack of a second. So, well, anyway, the first item on this agenda is to approve the minutes from our previous meeting. Y'all got a copy of those? What would be your pleasure?
Motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item then will be our old business. We have first we have a bid opening for testing units. I guess you've got at least one there, right?
Looks like one. Let's see what we... This is from Weiss, I guess, Weiss Fire and Security, and Kansas, Salina, Kansas. It looks like the quote is $107,821. That is with the Draft Commander 3000 with optional equipment. If there's no optional equipment, it's $84,900.
84 even? I'm sorry.
$84,900.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we return that to the Fire Commission for review.
We have a motion. Do you have a second?
Is that something y'all need to look at, or can you look at it now? Okay, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Can I ask Stacy one question on this? This is the pump test trailer, am I correct? And it tests all the it tests tankers, am I assuming? All the pumper trucks. What if it was, instead of buying the trailer, what if they were just tested by a third party? Yes.
There's an option for that.
Would it be a savings? Okay, all right. Just an option.
Okay, next item then, We are discussing our charter communications franchise agreement. We talked about this briefly at the last meeting and had a couple weeks to ask questions. I think Martin has reviewed the updated agreement.
One thing I was concerned about was in section 4, where they, if they did install anything and they had to go under streets or cut through streets or roads, any damage they caused from installation, I wanted something in there where the county could be repaired or the county would be indemnified, so they've changed it, put that in there.
And with your blessing, then I'll suggest that we go ahead and exercise this agreement. So we can,
And I guess I should also say it's not an exclusive agreement. If somebody else comes along and the county wants to do business with someone else, we can do that. This is a 7-year agreement, but it's non-exclusive, so anybody else that wants to come in and do business can. With the blessing of the court, of course.
do we have a motion to allow me to exercise this agreement?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, it was brought up at the last meeting about how the county's getting paid for this.
Here's what, you want to go ahead and vote? Well,
Well, no, I want to answer.
part of this, okay.
Yeah.
So, I've been in communication with the Senior Manager of Government Affairs, Carla Combs, and I'll just read to the court. The question, I think, was, what if we collected the fees versus letting the state collect them? So I will read what she said. It was a pleasure speaking with you yesterday. Per our conversation here, the excise tax versus franchise fees numbers I have on file. Currently, according to the information given to Charter, the county is collecting approximately $147,366.67 annually, so $147 and change, or approximately $12,280.56 monthly through the state excise tax. If the county chooses to start collecting franchise fees, the county could receive approximately $278,394.69 annually. This will be an annual payment and will start next year. Once Charter starts collecting franchise fees from its subscribers in the county will no longer receive the monthly payment from the state. Also, customers will see no difference in the amount of their bill. So it's almost $130,000
No-brainer.
additional revenue.
Well, pretty good. And the bills don't go up, nobody else.
That's what, according to her.
And they'll only pay once a year, correct? And it will not be just whatever?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, there's probably some more details here, but that's the,
Gist.
I think we need to
Uh,
wait and put that in the agreement where we're collecting the
It's in there, isn't it?
well, I think what's in there is the state. What did I do with it? I had it here just a minute ago. I think what's in there was the state, was we'd continue doing it like we've been doing it. But let me find it here. Got too many papers. I have it underlined. Franchise fee, paragraph 15. Probably I'm not sure this agreement actually says what you want it to say.
It acts like it,
Well-
you can't.
Yeah, paragraph 15A Says the grantor may provide written notice to the grantee of its intent to begin collecting franchise fees under this section equal to 5% of the grantee's gross revenue, commencing 90 days after the grantee's received a written notice. But it starts out by saying if at any time Kentucky law is
Exactly.
changed. But I take it from her email that there's no prohibition to the county doing that. And I assume
Can we,
into that, or you wouldn't have brought it
yeah,
up.
can we postpone this to make sure all the writing's correct of where we get the money? It's, what was it, $140,000 difference?
About 130, yeah.
That's a great deal to this county, $130,000, so I think we need to wait one more meeting and make sure we got everything in order.
Well, if you want to do that, I'll get back with her and make sure that language is in the agreement, giving you at least the option to do that if you want to do it.
Is that what you suggest, or how you?
As far as postponing it, yeah.
We've got a motion, second, we need to have that withdrawn.
I withdraw my motion.
All right. So you will follow up with her on that question? All right. Okay, I've got next is new business. I do have one item I would like to pass out to you, but I will let you know that Robin Doherty has tendered his resignation from the Pulaski County Ethics Board. He is actually pursuing an office that's going to be a conflict of interest for him, so he's turned in his resignation, so we will need probably the next meeting to reappoint that position. Next item then will be appoint our Pride Coordinator. Each year we do this. Currently, Danny Maston is our Pride Coordinator and does a great job representing Pulaski County. Can't see him here today. But I'd recommend that we reappoint Danny Maston to be our Pride Coordinator.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, then, we've got, with SPIDA, we've got Chris Girdler here to talk about his year one accomplishments and cast a vision for us, I guess, for the upcoming year. Appreciate you being here with us again today, Chris.
Thank you, Judge, members of the court. Good to see each and every one of you guys and girls. Thank you all for allowing me to say a few words. Believe it or not, I actually do look forward to attending these meetings every other week. Appreciate you all allowing me to be a part of the effort being undertaken here in Pulaski County. And just want to share a few thoughts with you of some of the different things that have taken place at SPIDA over the past year. As a quick side note, I just want to say how great it is to see the department heads and many of our elected officials always gathered here at every fiscal court meeting. It's representative of a great presentation for the community as a whole and really reflects a collaborative effort and cooperative spirit that is so important to any and all communities that are trying to seek out the level of success and achievement that we are here in Pulaski County. So I just want to commend each and every one of you guys for being here as well today. With that, I do also, Judge, want to recognize two of the board members from SPIDA who are here. Brooke Ping, who is our chairman of the board, also Seth Atwell, who's the treasurer of the SPIDA board. Appreciate both of those gentlemen. They sacrifice a lot of time and resources to be a part of the SPIDA organization and have been just tremendous counselors for me over the last year as SPIDA. But, you know, as I've stated before, time sure does fly when you're having a good time. And 1 year ago, SPIDA was officially formed. And since that time, while we were very eager to pursue our vision, we were very eager to pursue what we thought would be some endeavors that would change Somerset and Pulaski County. Quite frankly, we didn't realize how exciting, impactful, and transformative our mission and vision would be. Throughout the month of February, we have been sharing and will be sharing various ways in which SPIDA has changed the economic development landscape in Somerset and Pulaski County over the last year. And as proud of what we are, or as proud as we are of what we have accomplished, it could not have been done without the tremendous support of each and every one of you all. So we're simply here to say thank you for that. On behalf of the community, again, thank you for your public service and thank you for your support of this new organization. You will find in front of each one of you all, I came in a little bit in advance, left a flyer, front and back flyer for everyone to have. It shows a little bit of the work, kind of a brief overview of some of the efforts that we have undertaken, some of the accomplishments that we wanted to make sure to inform you all on. In addition to being in front of you, this has also been in the Commonwealth Journal. This is on our website, as well as it's on the SPEDA Facebook page, if anyone watching out there would want to look at that. But we're very proud of that. Also, you'll see in front of you just a very small token of appreciation that we wanted to give each and every one of you to try to commemorate this first year. It has SPEDA etched in the side, and hopefully you'll be able to put that to good use. But I want to reiterate again, without the support and vision of our mayor and our judge executive, without the support and vision of each of you all as magistrates and the fiscal court and our city council, none of what we have accomplished would have been possible. You know, in the beginning, many thought some of our plans were impossible. I was told that at many of the meetings that we first had a little over a year ago. But we knew that if we were going to truly shake things up, if we were going to make a difference, if we were going to abide by our key words, bold, vibrant, innovative, collaborative, we knew if we were going to abide by each of those that we had to do things that had never been done before. And you all, I'm sure, have heard the old saying, in order to make a good omelet, you got to break a few eggs. Well, we're in the process right now of making the best omelet that Somerset and Pulaski County has ever seen, and we're very, very proud of what we've been doing here. But at SPEDA, we knew that true economic development is and was so much more than what had been practiced over the past decade. We knew that true economic development is anything a community does to improve the economic, political, and social well-being of its people. And at SPEDA, one of our slogans is making business about people, because our people here in Pulaski County, that's our biggest asset. Our people are our best resource that we have here to promote, and that's one of the things SPEDA is going to continue to do. So as we look at that, you know, in that vein, we've undertaken a lengthy list of endeavors and initiatives. Again, many that you'll see on the front and back page of this flyer. And at the end of the day, what you'll notice is an overall theme of community and quality of life first. Putting community and quality of life first, and at the end of the day, everything else will fall into place. And I firmly believe that the success of SPEDA's first year has been a true testament to that particular idea. So as we celebrate our one-year anniversary throughout the month of February, we're very grateful, again, for your support, very grateful for the collaboration that we've been able to have, because we as a community, by working together, and I will continue to repeat that until I simply have left without a voice, by working together, we are making economic development in Somerset and Pulaski County thrive and flourish. You know, thank you for your continued backing. Thank you for your encouragement. I've said this last night, and I want to say it again. I eagerly ask you to hold on to your seats and enjoy the ride, because we are truly just getting started. We're going to do great things by working together. We are all a team in this effort. And the more that we can come together as a community and promote a lot of the different things, the better off we're going to be. And we can finally say proudly that Somerset and Pulaski County has a seat at the economic development table. That is so imperative in the discussions taking place statewide for us to have a seat at that table. And I agree firmly that we do. And also let me say this, and I mean this very humbly, but SPEDA will not be outworked, and SPEDA will never be out-hustled. I can assure each and every one of you all of that. And just in closing, I guess, and this truly does come from the heart. Some of you all have heard me say this before as well. But there is nowhere else in this world that I would rather live, work, nor raise my family than in Somerset and Pulaski County, Kentucky. We are blessed with an amazing community, and it is truly an honor of a lifetime that you all have given me and the SPEDA board has given me to lead this organization. But again, I know you got a lengthy list of issues in front of you, a long agenda. I could continue to go on and on, but please know that I'm a phone call away if you ever have any questions, and I'm always eager and looking forward to talking with each and every one of you all.
I just want to make a comment. I think it's a great job that what you're doing to work with the jail to integrate the inmates back into society and train them to work at industries already, so they already basically will have a job when they get out. So, I mean, it's a great program. I think you and Anthony and everybody who's involved in that program is a great thing, and what you're doing with economic development. I look forward to seeing where you go from here. So,
Thank you.
You had a big year, and I hope you double what you did this year. So.
Thank you so much, Mr. Renshaw. We appreciate that. And if I may, I would love to say a few words about Jailer McCullum. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with him. Being in numerous meetings over the last many months, I can tell you what a blessing it is to have him leading the jail. He truly cares about each and every inmate that's over there. He's working tirelessly to make sure that when those doors open, that there's going to be a lot better opportunities for those particular people, their families, and their children. And I think we're just beginning to see the tip of the iceberg of the great things our detention center is going to be doing. I anticipate some great announcements coming up in the very near future of some other partnerships that are taking place that will even go even further to improve some of the plans that we've undertaken out there.
I'll say this on behalf of our court. I mean, we worked on this the last 5 years and worked hard on figuring a way that we could put this organization into place. And I want to thank all the magistrates for their stick-to-itiveness to see that through, and their support, and thank them for investing in economic development the way it should be. So I appreciate all you all have done, and I'm excited to see how SPEDA continues to flourish here. I mean, we've already got the attention of people across the state, and I know it will get better, but thank you all, magistrates, for your support in this endeavor. Thank you, Chris, for all you're doing, and those of you that are serving on the board, appreciate you.
Chris, I was up at Frankfurt for the governor's budget address, and I met the legal counsel for the Economic Development Cabinet. And he said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Pulaski County, Somerset." And first thing he said was SPEDA. He said, "SPEDA is amazing." He said, "They're doing a great job down there." And so we talked about it for a while. So the judge is correct. I mean, that he didn't say Lake Cumberland, he said SPEDA. So of course that's his job, economic development. But anyway, I wanted to pass that on to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much.
You guys do an awesome job. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys very much.
Chris. Next then, we have Stuart Gilreath is going to present the District 8 Rural Secondary Program recommendations to us. Good morning, Stuart.
Good morning, everybody. Like I said, name's Stuart Gilreath, with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to present District 8's recommendations for Pulaski County's 2020-2021 Rural Secondary Road Program. The allotment for Pulaski County for the next fiscal year is just under $2.2 million. There's still a small amount of remaining funds from the current fiscal year that will be added to this allotment. Out of this allotment, funds for routine maintenance and traffic activities will be retained. These maintenance funds are set at a fixed rate of about $1.1 million based on rural secondary road miles, of which there's 220.843 miles of rural secondary roads in Pulaski County. Also, out of the rural secondary allotment, flex funds, once again, is anticipated to be distributed as they have been the last few years to Pulaski County, including a small amount of remaining flex funds from the current fiscal year. The total amount expected to be distributed for the next fiscal year to Pulaski County is $470,606. Flex funds can be used to improve county roads or state rural secondary roads to the discretion of the fiscal court. It's recommended that the fiscal court's road improvement priority list be submitted, as soon as possible to the Office of Rural Roads. That way the review process can begin and the funds can be distributed as soon as possible at the next fiscal year. The total remaining for improvements of state rural secondary roads is approximately $900,000. We are proposing the following improvement projects. Resurface Kentucky 196 beginning at the east end of bridge over Sputter Creek, extending easterly to Kentucky 80. Resurface Kentucky 1001 beginning at Kentucky 80, extending easterly to beginning of state maintenance. Resurface Kentucky 3266 beginning at Kentucky 635, extending northerly to Kentucky 452. Resurface Kentucky 3268 beginning at north end of the bridge over Buck Creek, extending northerly to Kentucky 934. These are District 8's recommendations for the upcoming fiscal year rural secondary program. The final decision on all projects will be made in Frankfort. Any recommendations that the court would have will be carefully considered. If there are no questions, I'd like to ask the court to approve these recommendations.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
All right, so next then, we've got an agreement and a resolution, one of our recurring annual duties here to enter into our county road aid agreement. You all got a copy of that. If you have any questions, or we'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion.
Second. Motion, Mr. Ramshaw, second, Mr. Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And then secondly, then the resolution adopting and approving the execution of a county road aid co-op program between the Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. So it'll be your pleasure with this resolution.
Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Wilson, a second, Mr. Turpin. This will require a roll call vote, please.
Turpin,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Ranshaw,
Yes.
Strunk.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all. Next then, we have we'll talk about fire commission grants. We've had 1.1, approximately 1.171 million excess from the fire commission. They were going to roll that over, and they have suggested a way of budgeting those items for use. And I've spoken with the committee, and there's $170,000 that we would like to put into grants to give to all the fire departments.
Motion. Do you want me to read the language?
If you want to read a
Yeah,
motion.
the motion is motion to approve a grant of $10,000 for each county fire department to be used towards the purchase of equipment authorized by the State Fire Commission equipment list. Money is to be funded by funds rolled over from the prior year.
That's your motion. You got that, Alicia? Second by Mr. Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, then, we've got some more good news, but we need to do a little bit of work here. This is regarding the Mill Springs National Monument Agreement, and as you know, we've been several people. Not me necessarily, but our congressmen, our residents of the Nancy area, our members of the Battlefield Association, the Fiscal Court, many others have worked on this for over 15 years to see Mill Springs become a national park, have national park status. And we finally have some light at the end of the tunnel. We are at a point where we met with representatives of the parks service last night, and we have an agreement that we need to get approved by the court. We also have a deed that needs to be transferred to the Park Service before we can enter the agreement. And then we also have a waiver of an appraisal on the property, on the monument that we are going to be transferring to the park. So three items. And is it 4 items in? Resolution to enter into the agreement, basically, is what we need. So I have I'm going to read this to you because this needs to be part of our language in the minutes. Alicia, I'll let you have this. This is from April Daniels, representing the Park Service. She says, for your meeting tomorrow, please include Zolliott Copper Park in your agenda, specifically discussing the disposal of Pulaski County land, property, and assets. More specifically, the donation of Zolliott Copper Park to the National Park Service in fee via general warranty donation deed. We will need the minutes from this meeting or an excerpt that addresses this agenda point. So alongside the minutes, we ask that a resolution is submitted solidifying the wishes of the board and the county. So I'll give you this, and if you can work this into your notes, it would be great. So we will need a motion then, first of all, to sign the, you all have a copy of the resolution in front of you.
You want me to summarize it?
Will you summarize that, please?
Basically what you just said, if you guys remember, it's been about a year ago, you all gave me permission to file a quiet title action with regard to the park out there, or the park and Zolliott Copper Park. And everybody thought it was already the county's property, but it turned out it wasn't. It had been dedicated as a monument, but not taken into the county. So we did that, and the court granted our motion on that, and so the property became part of Pulaski County Fiscal Courts. Became your owner. You became the owner of that property. That was the last piece of this puzzle that needed to come together for the association out there and Congressman Rogers and everybody to pull all this together and proceed in getting it designated as a national monument or national park. And so that's basically what this resolution says. It just says that that you guys are in agreement to transferring this property to the National Park Service, and that you all are going to cooperate together in order to continue bringing to fruition it becoming a national monument.
Well, I've got a copy of the resolution. What would be your pleasure?
Motion.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Strunk, second, Mr. Wilson. Any further discussion?
And I should also say it grants Judge Kelly the authority to sign deeds, whichever day you'd have to execute a deed, and any other documents associated with moving forward into the national monument status.
I have a question. You were talking before we came in here, something about the funds. Can you explain?
That's in the agreement. This is not,
It's not part of this yet?
no, we got to vote on the agreement.
Okay.
So this is just a resolution allowing us to get into the agreement. We'll vote on that too. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next then will be do the waiver of appraisal and entry permission. So this is the property that we are deeding them. They're just asking that we will sign a waiver of appraisal. Since we're giving it to them, we're not going to request the value be appraised.
And normally we've talked about in the past how you can't give property away except through 2 or 3 different ways. And of course, one of those, and they've changed the law on that a little bit, but one of those ways is it can be donated to another public agency. So legally, that's how this qualifies, statutorily and legally.
When does this occur?
Probably within the next month or so. There's some time sensitivity to it. If it gets delayed, then it kind of goes back and starts over again. So there's Congressman Rogers and his folks and the National Park Service folks are all really pushing this along for things to happen in the next couple months.
Okay, great.
So I'd need a motion to,
Motion.
Second.
motion and a second to give me permission to sign this waiver of appraisal. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And then, do you have a copy of that agreement?
I do.
Finally, the agreement, and we met last night, along with Dr. Jasper, who's here. I'm sorry, Dr. Burkett, is here with us today, I'm sorry. And we discussed this with Ben West, what's his name? Ben West of the Park Service. And we have gone back and forth on this agreement and finally come to what we think is suitable for all parties. But in a nutshell, basically what they're asking us to do is for the next 3 years to continue providing the funding that we have at the time of this agreement, which is $100,000 a year, correct, Joan?
Yes.
So they're wanting us to guarantee a 3-year window during this transition period that we will still support the park the way we have been. And then that's the execution date, the light at the end of the tunnel that we've all been hoping we'd see. So at that point, we will be able to say we have a national park right here in Pulaski County.
I don't have any paperwork on this agreement to review.
You don't have the paper, the agreement?
No. I don't have a copy of the agreement.
I don't either.
Okay. I can give you my copy.
Y'all have one?
This
I
is,
don't have one either.
this is 18 pages long here. I'm gonna sit here and read this.
Yep, you're going, yep, because this needs to be done today. So you take your time. Anybody else want a copy?
I don't have one, but I don't want one.
Jason?
I've already seen it.
I thought we brought this up before, because we met with these folks several months ago and started through this agreement.
We've talked about it a bunch, but.
Yeah. It's got the obligation, I can summarize it for you if you want to take my word for it, but the obligations, there's 3 parties to the agreement. There's the association, which Dr. Burkett's here representing. There's the county, and then there's the Park Service. Hold on. They're called the service in the agreement. Fiscal court's called the court, and the association is the Mill Springs Battlefield Association. What it basically says, it describes the area that will become the park, and of course, all fiscal court, from a standpoint of property, all you're donating is the Zollicoffer Park, because you don't own anything else out there. The rest of it's owned by the Battlefield Association. The Park Service has to they're taking in the Zollicoffer Park and the museum as the first 2 acquisitions from all the property that's owned by the court and the Battlefield Association. This agreement sets out the rights and obligations of all the parties, and the association will continue using its employees and maintaining the property. The county won't have any liability with regard to workers' comp or public liability or that sort of thing. All you're responsible for is continuing the funding at the level that that the fiscal court's been providing funding for the last number of years of $100,000. That's to allow the Park Service a time of transition, because they can't just show up out there the day the deed's signed and take over everything. So it's a transition period, and as they start contributing assets, hopefully it'll be quicker than 3 years, but as they start contributing assets, then your all's financial obligation will decrease each year according to their contribution of assets. And so
So it's not $100,000 every year for the next year. They'll start.
that's the maximum it would be, and I don't want to say, no, you won't have to do that every year, because that's been your commitment for the last number of years. They have,
Hoping they'll be able to put more
Yeah,
funding
Yeah,
in.
they,
and we can
they just
slowly
won't start
reduce it
until we
down.
agree that we will
And if you go to, Mark, if you go to section 4 point, let me get you started. Section 4, under duties.
This is what, this
That's not my section.
There's a lot of 4.2. Okay, so
4
you'll notice there, 4 is the duties, and it says the parties jointly agree. That's where everybody just, that says everybody's gonna work together to make this happen. That's a cooperation preamble to this agreement. And then if you go on over to 4.2, see 4.2?
Mhm.
That is what the service, the Park Service, that's their obligations under the agreement. And this is, I might say parenthetically, this is the same agreement that was executed up in Jessamine County for the national park up there.
Camp
National
Nelson.
Cemetery. Yeah, so it's essentially the same. I mean, we basically don't need to reinvent the wheel, so we basically mirrored everything that they've done. See section 4.3?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what the association's continued obligations are going to be over the term of this agreement. And then you get to section 4.4, and that is the court's obligations under this agreement. And you can see that's very, very short, very brief. It basically says support the National Monuments mission and continue the funding, except when the service receives adequate appropriated federal funds or other funds to decrease the court's financial commitment. So that's the meat of the agreement. I know it seems thick, but a lot of it, this is a federal thing, so a lot of it's, we met with the guy for what, 3 hours and went through it line by line, so.
Okay, it scared me when the court is presented with contracts and stuff like that, and we haven't been able to review it ahead of time, so I
It's understandable.
think
Well,
it's
it just
something that we
didn't-
need to make sure we get this information ahead
Yeah.
of time to review.
Well, I appreciate that, and for my part, I'll try to ensure that that happens in the future, but this, I'd looked over this and I felt comfortable with it.
You need this back?
Yeah, I'll email you a copy.
So do we have a motion and a second? We do, don't we? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
And again, we're under a time crunch here, and not because anybody's trying to rush anything through for any nefarious reason. They're trying to rush it through on behalf of all of our community here to get this done so it doesn't go to the bottom of the pile again.
Let's back up. She said we didn't make a motion, so I'll make a motion with that contract.
Thought we had a motion. I thought we had a motion in a second. So we got a motion by Mr. Strunk and a second from Mr. Wilson. Any further discussion?
She said she didn't have one.
All in favor?
You didn't go to sleep.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pardon me, I got distracted there. All right, then, that's all with the Mill Springs agreement, right?
We do resolution,
Resolution, the waiver, and the.
deed, permission to sign the deed.
Oh.
I believe we did that.
Okay,
We didn't
I
do
will-
that.
I will need permission then to sign the deed over.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we get into our department reports. We got Road Department, Eugene.
All I've got today is the road work request.
I think we've got a couple speed limits in there, don't we, gentlemen?
Yeah, Ben Baker and Stringer Cemetery Road, 15 miles an hour.
And can I ask a question, and it's to you, Mark? On your road requests, I was looking over it, and, some things I understand, some things I don't when it comes to roads. But Do you have any that are gonna be outside contractors?
No.
Okay, just, that's what I was checking, because if not, it kind of messes with us with work orders at the road department and over here.
I've only done one, and we approved that through the court.
Got it, thank you.
So we have, you say Ben Baker? It's kind of cut off here on.
Yeah, it's Ben Baker and Stringer Cemetery Road.
We'll need to do
Are both of them same speed limit?
Same.
individual
Same
votes
speed
though, right?
limit. No, you can do them on one or same speed limit.
Okay, we'll need a motion then to turn Ben Baker and Stringer Cemetery Road into 15 mile an hour.
Motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And the other one is, is James Road, 25 miles an hour speed limit.
Motion.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second to change James Road to 25 mile an hour speed limit. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? We'll need a motion to approve the rest of the road work request as a whole.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Wilson.
Second.
Second, Mr. Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Eugene. To our treasurer report then. Yeah, we have a couple items there.
I do, and I need to add one also at the court's pleasure, if possible. The first item I have would be this month's bill list.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the bill list. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just had a question. When were we going to get the contract for Don Franklin? For the leases? Still haven't seen a copy of it.
We've got those in the, have you not been?
I don't have a
seen those?
copy of
All right.
the new lease for Don Franklin.
Okay, well, we've got that in the office. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second item would be the bank reconciliation for the month of January, and it says 19. I apologize. Can't get used to 2020. Sorry. Some of them might say 2020. I don't know. Yes, most of them do say 2020. Just general
Motion.
fund, the one on top.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second to approve the bank reconciliation. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
The third item I have is some fund transfers. The majority of those are to transfer occupational tax monies when we close that out, that quarter out. And the other one is some funds have been deposited in the grant fund that should have been deposited in the jail. And try as I might for 2 years, they cannot figure out what the account number is on the jail.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, Mr. Strunk, second. I'm sorry, a motion, Mr. Ranshaw, and second, Mr. Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
The extra item I have is the constables with drug forfeiture money would like to purchase another cruiser, a new cruiser for $6,500, $2.15. It's a 2010 black Dodge Charger.
Motion.
That is coming out of their money.
That is coming out of their money.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Ranshaw, second, Mr. Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, we don't have any citizens' comments on our agenda today. We would need to go into an executive session to discuss property purchase and sale. So, need a motion to do that.
Motion.
Mr. Turpin,
Second.
second, Mr. Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so folks, you're welcome to hang out till we resume shortly, but that's all of our regular business, so. In executive session, with no further business discussed, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have two motions. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
When you do put